What's going on, guys? Jake Peffer here. Welcome back to Jake's Cinema Room. Back with another movie review for you. Today, I am going to be looking at the sequel to the 1993 hit Disney movie Hocus Pocus with Hocus Pocus 2. Now, if you are not familiar with Hocus Pocus, like I said, it came out back in 1993. It was a pretty moderate hit at the time, but went on to become a pretty big cult classic. Over the years, a lot of people use this as a Halloween movie every year. It plays on most of the, Freeform and Disney Channel and all that stuff every Halloween. So it's garnered a lot of attention over the years, despite I don't think it was all that well received when it initially came out, but that's the basic definition of a cult classic. It went on, through video sales and now streaming and just on TV every season. It's gained so much popularity, and sure enough, here's the sequel to it. And I gotta say, I'm not someone that really grew up with Hocus Pocus. I'm pretty sure I saw it when I was a lot younger. I really didn't remember it, but I did watch it recently to get prepared for this sequel, and I rather enjoyed it. It's not one of the greatest movies of all time by any means, but it's a pretty fun and entertaining movie. Good family movie, good movie to watch around the Halloween season. And it's perfectly fine. Nothing particularly wrong with it. Nothing particularly great about it either. And this sequel is, I would say, about on par with the original. There's nothing here particularly great. There's nothing that's going to blow you away. But there are a lot of great callbacks. There's some great fan service for people that love the original movie. And all in all, I think they did a pretty good job with this sequel. I think it works well enough to, if you were a fan of that first movie, you will enjoy this. Realistically, there's not much difference. It does hit a lot of the same beats. So I guess in terms of, just making a sequel for the sake of it and only doing it slightly differently, it does, kind of miss in that regard, because it is, like I said, a lot of the same beats. But, nonetheless, there's not much you could really do with this story. And what they do with it, I think, works enough to make it entertaining. With this new movie, you have three friends, two of which, Becca and Izzy, end up bringing the Sanderson sisters back to the town of Salem. Their other friend, Cassie, ends up joining them later on when all the antics start going on. But the Sanderson sisters come back to the town of Salem and basically try to wreak havoc and take over the night of Halloween, essentially looking for, they like to eat children and wreak havoc and do all that crazy stuff. And that's what they're back for. With this one, the Sanderson sisters are pretty much the only characters we get from the original. You do also get the character Billy Butcherson, who is played once again by Doug Jones. He does pop up, but the original three kids from the first movie, none of them make an appearance. Neither does the cat or person that the cat was made from, essentially, Thackeray Binks. He does not show up in this movie either, although there is a black cat that does appear that ends up getting mistaken for that character, but nonetheless, not the same character. But you do have Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy all coming back as the Sanderson sisters, and they are what made that first movie so good. And here it's no different. They are what fuels these movies. They are chewing up the scenery left and right, and they do a great job. They get right back into these characters, and it's like they never left the shoes of these characters, essentially. And they do a good job. I had fun with what they were doing. There's a lot of callbacks to jokes from the previous movie. There is not one, but two musical numbers. Technically three if you count the end credits, but nonetheless. One of the musical numbers, not a huge fan of it, because it kind of comes right off the bat when they first get brought back. But there is a pretty nice joke that ties into it that I did enjoy. But their big musical number later in the movie, I actually would put right up against that musical number in the first movie. I almost would say I kind of like it a little bit more. Maybe it's because I like the song that they sing in this one more than the I Put a Spell on You song. But, it's hard to beat that original musical number. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it worked well. Outside of the main three, the three new kids that we have in this, Becca, who's played by Whitney Peak, Izzy, who is played by Belissa Escobedo, sorry if I mispronounced that, and Cassie, who's played by Lilia Buckingham. I think they all do a great job, and they are worthy successors to the original three kids. They've got a lot of charisma, and I think their friendship works really well, and they do a good job playing off the Sanderson sisters pretty well. Doug Jones is great again as Billy Butcherson. You know, he's there for a lot of good comic relief. You also have Sam Richardson coming in this, who I think is a pretty funny comedian. He is a pretty integral part of the storyline, and some of the stuff they give him to do, I think, works. Some of it does come off a little corny, but I mean, there's some definite corny parts to this movie as well as that original, so it's nothing to scoff at. You also have Tony Hale, Forky himself from Toy Story, who plays Cassie's dad and is also the mayor of the town, and he also plays a pretty integral part in the movie as well. But he's also providing, some laughs here and there, and all in all, the cast is fine. I think everybody does a good job here. Like I said, even though this hits a lot of the same beats as that original, I think it works just as well. And yeah, like I said, if you were a fan of that original movie, I think you're going to have a good time with this. The only downsides with this one I can say is it is repetitive with some of the stuff that it does from the original. Even though there's callbacks and fan service, it's maybe a little heavy-handed with it at times. Surprisingly, there's some green screen in this movie that somehow looks worse than the green screen in the original. Not sure what's going on there, but as far as like the set design, the costuming, and the decorations and everything, I think that all works well, and it's a good movie to throw into your lineup of Halloween choices every year. You can watch this back to back as a double feature with that first movie, and it's a good movie to pop in around this time of year. Overall, I would say Hocus Pocus 2, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it's nothing great by any means, but there's really nothing overly bad about it either. It's just a fine movie to throw on if you've got kids or you want to watch it with the family. I think everybody in the family is really going to enjoy it. And like I said, if you are a fan of that first movie, this is something that I think is going to be a pleasant surprise for you, because honestly, when I heard they were doing a sequel to it, I thought it was going to be pretty bad. The trailers made it look, like it could be hit or miss, but I think it worked well enough to entertain not only myself, but I think it's going to entertain a lot of the kids today and the people that grew up with the movie as well. That is it from me, guys. If you have seen Hocus Pocus 2, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I'll leave all my links in the description below to follow me on all my various sites. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you all later.